On today's episode of Let's Talk FGO, new advanced quests, new survey. Really tried hard to say user survey. Sorry, killed my momentum. But also, somebody pick up that phone, because I called it! Alternatively, I told you! Here's my other meme. Anyway, hi, welcome to Let's Talk FGO. I am one of your hosts. I am Omega the Melting. With me, as always, definitely not just a rabbit in a mask. Lucky.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're enjoying Fate Grand Order, a.k.a. A Caper Most Comical. And while we here at Studio Mega like to bring you the latest Nectar-loaded news and memes, we will be talking about current and future events for the JP and EM version of the game, so anyone not wanting spoilers should wake up, get out there.
Yes, if you have not done the one story available, which, to be fair, it just started, you might not have.
I am not fully through it, I will admit.
Well, it is. We'll talk about this more in detail later, but they do at least start pretty strong. It's like a 4-pipper and a prologue?
Yeah.
It's got some weight to it. We will discuss that later at the regular time in our regular show. Before we go anywhere in our show, I have another regular segment to do, which is I'd like to thank our patrons. Our high-level patrons include Adam DeHarp, Architect 10, Blacksto G, Carlos, Dragon, Ferris, Fightless Iceberg, Jeremy Vasquez, Justin Fay, John Sandoval, Starlight, Legendary Boss Hunter, Regent Raptor, Rise of Kenji, Rogue Robyn, Charles Empire, some guy named Bob Siren 23, and Varen the Crow. If you like what we do, must do more, consider supporting us on Patreon. You can get access to episodes early, and lots of other goodies, and everybody helps us out. Thank you for your support.
Thank you.
But yes, we have there's a lot of adjectives I could use. I'll just say we have an show for you.
And show.
We have a show of all time. What kind of show of all time? Yeah. But the front half will probably be a little lean and mean as we just power through stuff. We're at about 2 minutes, though. I'm pretty sure I can safely cuss. So let's check out everybody's favorite Kohai, Mash.
Senpai, 起きてください.
No, that's not about Mash cussing. That's about me cussing. This is time to wake the fuck up, Senpai. Breaks for whips. Take place of the whole CPU. That wasn't quite continuous when I went for the ja and the sound wave broke. Anyway. It's pretty simple. Just want to remind you, this month's items, the items of March, are stand arrows, gunpowder, and night metals. Appreciate all of those things. We're not quite up to the 5 mats like JP is, but we're working. Don't really have anything else to go for. Just got some stuff going on, so we'll keep on No real records or evils. Valentines has wrapped up. We've moved on to Slapstick Museum. Stuff exists. I guess I should say it's not really a record or an evil, but I did actually work through all my lock-ons and stuff and collected my last few Valentines over the past days on account of me being dying in previous weeks. But if we're through all that does mean I need to ask you, did you finish your master missions? To complete your master missions this week, you need to perform 30 FP summons, and then defeat 15 Saber or Riders, 15 Archers, Casters, Berserkers, 15 Lancers or Assassins, all of which are not counting servants and certain bosses, and then, through the power of battle drops, get 15 and then 30 EXP cards. So, do your dailies, do FPs, I guess. Apparently you should have been level grinding after Valentines. Don't have anybody to grind? Well, too bad. But yes, that is how it be. I'm sure all of the White Day focused one will be coming up in a few days. But if you want to check those off, get those extra quartz frags for all those banners, check it out. Wow. 4 minutes and we're going on to Skelegrams. Oh, boy.
It's gonna be one of those shows, my dude.
Oh, well, hey, maybe we'll make up for it in the mailbag segment. Or we won't, and I'll just get back to playing Judgment faster.
You're actually playing Judgment?
Yes, it's open right now. I hope the occasional bursts of sirens in Commodore Cho are not coming through my microphone. It's literally paused right behind me. Anyway, we'll talk more about that on WhatsApp probably, along with lots of other things. Check out WhatsApp.
Lots of other
things, stuff. And sure, while I'm in this mode, while I wrap it out to 5 minutes of the raw recording, we did some streams this week, we do some usual stuff. Actually got credits to roll on Dad of Boy 2, though we're going to have another stream for some cleanup, some post-game, do some stuff. There was a fail portrayal, there was a pretty healthy Final Fantasy XIV stream, where I did stuff and things, and I saw at least a giant white whale. And also there was a bonus stream on Thursday where I played Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, and I briefly played Ranked Ladder, so you guys get a load of that. People love that shit.
How was that?
How was Yu-Gi-Oh? I was alright. People interfaced. Got some comments. Playing ranked ladder against people, even in silver, is suffering, but that's just how Yu-Gi-Oh be.
I bet people wanted to see that.
Yeah. I mean, if we want to get into it, there was definitely watching the view counts. There was some tabbing back and forth, I think, when matches were interesting, or when I was yelling and screaming some more, people were tabbing back, but when stuff was just not happening, people were tabbing away. Seems pretty normal.
Yeah.
It do be like that sometimes. Anyway, you can check all that out and more on the channel now. Heck, while I'm promoting stuff, I'll probably insert this in again at the end, but also, YouTube hasn't been hitting me up to, like, promo this feature, but apparently they have a new podcast feature. I don't know how it exactly works to the, the end user yet, but YouTube had a little pop-up and said, podcast new, go over there. They have a special podcast playlist feature, so you can designate certain playlists as podcasts and add new shows. You have a little, like, special squared art. I used a squared up version of our, default thumbnail art to slot in there, and I put all of Let's Talk FGO in there going back through the ages. So if you are about to go on a re-listen kick, or you'd like to start a re-listen kick, there's a whole playlist. I will probably put it in the end card for this video and all future videos going forward. I'm not going back through, like, 306, I think, videos are on the playlist. I'm not going back to 306 videos to fix the end cards for all of them, but future end cards will probably have the podcast playlist in there if you want to, catch up and go back, and that should just have all your stuff straight through. So that's, that's nice. That's convenient. It's cool. Sorry, somebody just posted something in games, and I'm not sure if it's cursed or not. It is 14 related.
Oh, yeah, no, this is a thing. This is literally a thing.
So people know about the science of the 7th gym.
Yes. With
such members such
level
as
large and Allegains level large. Yes, no, this has been a thing.
Listen,
Final Fantasy 14, like one of the funniest things, like there's stuff like this, and then there'll be Lalafels who'll dress up like a Scion and just call themselves a wind up whatever, and just run around that way.
Oh, 14 is the gift that keeps on giving, and I say that with affection. Anyway, Skelegrams. Let's give you some news. Let's give you some newses. It's been about 8 minutes. First of all, we do actually have some JP news. We're still in a 3-week cycle for the latest Valentines, so no exact word on what's going to happen with White Day just yet. We'll probably have that news by next week. I think they have a stream announced. I'm sure chat will double-check that and yell at me. Or they won't. But, yeah, we're not quite at the newsies for that yet. But soon, maybe. But they did have to kind of wrap up this, third-ish week of the event. They announced Advanced Quest Series 14 started the 28th. This is a fairly big one, I want to say, because, first of all, this is, I believe, the first time you can get all 5 copies of a CE with the 5th copy of the Dust CE, so you can now max limit break it. There was another copy of the Seashell, the Seashell, not to be confused with the Seychelles Islands, the Seashell CE. This is the second copy of that one, and brand new Homunculus Baby CE. So, new CEs on your first MLB. Okay, next week, Saturday night. Yeah, so there's a stream coming in a little bit, but you got to wrap up this last week first. Okay, thank you, chat. Join us on Patreon at the $10 and up level. Be part of the live chat. Save that thumbnail. The people have already seen it, obviously, because of the power of the future past, but, very shiny, sparkly.
Very nice.
Okay. Alright. So's, that's it for the Advanced Quest, though. Some new stuff. Good to see, but that's it.
That's it. Yeah,
but, well, yeah, not a lot going on in JP, but we got a little bit for NA stuff to close out. Got some extra stuff there. First of all, I think we were due for another user survey, but I don't know if it was specifically tied to Slapstick Museum, but NA has enabled its 5th user survey. Starts the 3rd, goes until the 21st. Fill out the survey, get 4 tickets. Pretty typical stuff. Usually want to be doing it probably from your phonocles to make it easier. There's many shenaniganer involved. But it's there, and you can get your tickets out of it. I believe it has questions. I haven't done mine yet, because I, did all my new login stuff in the middle of the night last night. But I believe it's got questions about, like, Grail fronts and stuff, if you're interested. People talking about, what you like, what you dislike, whatever. And for our last bit of news, 2 just confirmed. Last week, we operated under the assumption, or I operated under the assumption specifically, because I wrote the pregame, that Slapstick Museum would start the 3rd. Hey, guess what? I called it. I was right. Holy Grail Phantom Thief Amakusushiro in the Slapstick Museum starting the 3rd, ending the 14th. So you've only got about 10 days on this. But called it, and as a little extra bonus, this is something new. There's just 10 Saint Quartz login reward. Just log in for 10 Saint Quartz. Presumably this would have been for, like, the stream in JP, and so we aren't getting a lot of streams or dev diaries right now about this stuff. I assume that Aniplex and Lasengle are very busy right now, but there's a social media tie-in and there's a stream. I think specifically in JP, this was related to the Winter Festival time period, so the Winter Party, whichever one they're calling it at the time. But they've done this every year for the past several years to do a little winter thing to kind of tie you all the dates together. So yeah, you just got 10 extra St. Courts, and the event is processing. Let's go.
So I do believe that takes care of all the news. So with that out of the way, I'm gonna do a big stretch. And we are going to get right into this week. Let's talk FGO Mailbag, a segment where we read what you have to say and comment accordingly. This week, I tried to get out a few hours earlier than usual to see if that would bump numbers, but nay, that actually seems that backfired. We actually got fewer people. I will do a refresh here because I know you people are animals sometimes. And yes, there was one additional entry in the time since I checked last, so we have 8 lovely submissions. Probably will not take too long, or it will. Chaos is free and cannot be controlled. So,
Chaos control!
I was thinking it, I wasn't going to say it, and you ruined it.
I took your subtle joke and I made it unsubtle. I hit the audience with a crowbar. Anyway, there's the chaos right there. Let's go.
So, we will start off. This first one comes from a master silently crying after receiving Valentines from both Musashis and giving head pats to Protea. Very good. Hey, Loki Mega, hope you're both in good health and spirits. My question this week is simple. Who do you like to see arrive in the FGO Arcade collab? My only wish is TM match. You should have never left us in the first place. Sending you the good vibes. And hope you enjoy Amakusa's cosplay as Arsene Lupin. P.S. If you haven't heard or seen it, there's a fan-made version of the humanoid Zeus using his MP. I definitely recommend checking it out. It's a wonderful seeing how far fan projects have come.
I mean, I don't know if we want to shit talk fan projects in the past. How many years old is that fake FGOX Gundam crossover thing? That was a couple years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, people get creative.
That one was like really good. Some people thought it was real. But yeah, no, for the collab.
And the collab, my demands are simple. Give me Tiamat and give me Draco. That's all I need. That's all I want, for reasons.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty solid. I would like a Sita banner, perhaps, as a 4-star. And that's about it.
I guess it just depends on how ham on the collab they are willing to go.
I mean, last time with learning with manga, that was what? There was no welfare, but there was a new bronze, and then there was a 4-star and a 5-star, so that was 3 whole new characters at least. And that was for just manga. So we'll see.
I still think, though, the event that had the most character was the CCC event because it had BB as your welfare, then you could get Lip and Melt, and then surprise banner number 2, you can get Kiara.
And then for the rerun, they were like, surprise 3rd banner, KP.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think CCC has the best record overall in terms of collabs. Fate Go X Gundam was 4 years ago.
But with that, we shall move on. This next one comes from Ayas, the one who suffers from a CE rate down. They say, question, concerning the number of servants that have used Mozart's mask for a quick costume, for different events or interludes, would you guys like it if they added as a costume to a bunch of servants? Like when it happened to a bunch of servants last year in JP, with a bunch of them getting a glasses costume. Yes, was trying to roll for CEs, but ended up rolling 2 Amakusas instead. This is what we like to call suffering from success.
Yes, that's what we call that.
Sincerely, Ayas, the ones whose luck only meant he would be CE for. Me personally, no, I would not want it as a costume because it's always just hilarious to see the Mozart Max out of nowhere. You never know when someone's gonna fucking wear it, but when you see it, you fucking know.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny that they've got like a little, I think the actual like art team has a little transparency of that they can just slap on, which is hilarious.
It's literally the Guy Fawkes of fucking FGO.
It's a meme template, yeah. I know that they did do it a lot, but I don't think any of them would actually be like funny as a costume. Probably the funniest one would be Amakusa as, Santa Island mask, but he also just got a Phantom Thief costume, so he doesn't need it anymore, right?
Right.
Like he's upgraded.
But let us keep moving on. This next one comes from the Tyrant King trying to sell cardboard crack to get more cardboard crack, aka trading cards. They say, hey guys, I was watching a card game anime, and they're currently bringing back corrupted units to the game. I was wondering which of your favorite alters and/or corrupted/fallen anime characters. That's it for me. Sending good vibes your way. Wah 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 wah. And hope you have a great evening. Well, if we're talking like corrupted characters, specifically in Fate, Sakuramato is still my all-time favorite.
Dark
There's a reason
Sakura
why.
is very specific, yeah.
Yes. There is a reason I go ham for Sakura faces in this game. But if we're talking about alters in general, I think they're best as a pair, but Saber Alter and John Alter together, I think, gives me life on a regular basis.
Yeah.
By themselves, they're kind of but like specifically like seeing them in like events or in Shinjuku was like, no, this is more what I need in life. Just their big frenemy relationship. So
yeah, it's pretty strong, and I think Jolta herself also works as kind of because she's not really actual Jean altered, as it were. That was our big reveal. She was literally fake.
Yep.
But like that means that her and the actual Jean like have a very funny dynamic, usually in summers that kind of we go back and forth on.
Oh yeah.
And I think obviously talking about Shinjuku, there were some deeper character moments there too. But yeah, it's very fun to see either the original like Saber Alter or Jolter out there doing stuff. This does remind me, I do want to use this as a brief jumping off point, but I have definitely noticed, and I'm not sure like when or how it happened, but it's probably due to FGO, but I actually generally see a lot of other gacha game like fandoms talking about, evil version or like, bad future versions of characters as alters.
Oh yeah, no, this is particular in the Blue Archive fandom right now too with Shiriko Alter.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's what everyone calls her.
I heard it with Arcanites a lot. It happened a little with like oh my god, why does my brain fucking killing me? The naval game. How did I forget this?
Azure Lane?
Azure Lane, thank you. I'm just trying to think blue and I'm like, no, that's Blue Archive. They're similar. But yeah, like the ships in Azure Lane was, the meta ones got a lot called like, Enterprise Alter and stuff like that, So it's really interesting to see that like obviously FGO was the first to do that, but it had kind of their own established naming scheme and a lot of, cross culture contamination have kind of taken that and run with it. It's just a neat thing I noticed the other day.
Mm-hmm. No,
let me know when they summon a bad version of a character in Genshin and what they call that if it takes off.
I don't know, I think Alter's just a good and easy shorthand. Axe in here talking nothing about fucking what we're talking about right now. I don't know why.
Let us move to the next question.
So we move on. Oh, this next one comes from Moon is probably late. In parentheses, I hope not. You are not, do not worry.
Cutting a little close as I look at the timestamp. I won't call it out, but, you made it. It's the people who post, like, Saturday morning that I want to ask, how do you think we make this show?
Minutes before it releases.
Not to, like, call those people out too hard, but it's just kind of funny to me that, like, you posted in the thing while I'm, like, I see the alert as I'm going to make the episode public, and I'm like, how do you think I upload this? What time do you think I'm working on? No offense, I'm just curious. Anyway, sorry. Interrupted Moon.
Mm-hmm. What they say, hello there, Lucky Mega. Hope you're doing well. Gonna stick with my usual, which is a food-related question. What type of rice dishes do you like? For me... Actually, I've been experimenting a lot more with rice dishes. Because rice, in general, is great. Like, a lot of times I eat it as a side. It's good. Got, get my carbs in and whatnot. But if I'm not just having it as a side, there's a lot of things I do, like garlic fried rice. That's a strong contender. Let's see here. I like to make rice balls. I like curry and rice. I like lemon chicken and rice. Recently, though, I have been actually experimenting in ways to use up old rice. Because I don't know if I'm like everyone else out there, but anytime I go to make a amount of rice, I always end up making like twice as much as I actually need, and I'm just sitting there with half a rice cooker full of rice. I'm just like, what the fuck am I gonna do?
Rice cookers are usually pretty big, yeah.
So usually that I usually save it for something else like curry or fried rice, but I've been trying to find out other things. I have not made mochi yet. Well, that's the thing I was about to mention up. I've actually been looking up recipes like people recommend making rice casseroles, using rice to supplement soups into stews. Did I mention rice pudding? I can't remember.
Not explicitly, but yeah, rice pudding.
Yeah, make rice pudding. And, some people have been talking about, making, like, rice cakes and whatnot and stuff. So I was like, I think in the future, as I experimented more with cuisine, I will be trying more things with rice. And hopefully I will add a lot more things to that list.
Rice pudding, pretty good. I mean, for me, like you talked about all that experimentation, it's pretty straightforward for me. Like, rice balls or mochi, like, buns, balls, that kind of small stuff. Mochi's so, like, sweet and delicate. It's good stuff.
It is good.
Rice Krispie treats are very basic, but it's still fun. Mostly it's just because how I eat usually is very, even as an adult, very, like, loosey-goosey on the go. It's a lot of, like, sandwiches. Or even if I make pizza for myself, it's okay. This goes in for, like, 20 minutes, and then I, cut it, and then I just put it in the fridge. It goes. Rice isn't really that complex, but, you have to figure out what to do with it after you're done. Storage-wise, split it up a little. I could probably experiment a little with some stuff, but I definitely like the more palmable, convenient things. Easy on my number of dishes. Well, that's what I got.
And that's what he has, so let us move on. This next one comes from...
So now just think of a mochi.
Mochi. If I get a rabbit, I'm going to name him Mochi. That's what I'm going to do. This next one comes from Monster Girl Aficionado. They say, Dear Lucky Omega, no question this week, just sending the good vibes, wah, 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 and wishing you well. Keep up the great work. Do people just say good vibes now so I make the fucking noise? I feel like they do.
Yeah, I don't remember how we started on the vibes chart, but you started making a noise, so people have just identified that as, like, our thing. Also, I have to say, though, every time this person posts, I, like, have to side-eye. Are they really just posting with no question? Is aficionado spelled correctly? Am I being punked right now?
I question the universe at large here. A person in Catcher says it should be. They're not sure themselves.
Yes, I double-checked in Google. I believe it is the correct spelling. It wasn't like, did you mean to spell it this other way? Listen, this has been an ongoing theme, so... Listen, I just said, we did this... I reorganized the entire show to a playlist. There's, like, over 300 of these. It's a lot. A lot of hours.
A lot of hours. Unfortunately, I didn't have the best memory. But let us move on. This next one comes from Gahulian God. They say, if we were to get another Prisma, Ilya, Miyu, or Chloe using the full power of a single servant card, who would you make the 5-star and what card would she use? As extra credit, who would be the 4-star and card she would use? And as a final question, as someone with very little of Prisma Ilya, but does Chloe use any other servant card besides the Archer card?
No, because she ate the Archer card, not literally. Which I think to this question kind of preludes it. There's a couple of different ones. There's other Prisma characters, yeah. People bring it up. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on there. But also, I think that, like, technically, there's even some weird combos that they end up doing. Like, every time they use the Assassin card, I think, in the series, they use a different one of the Hassan's type abilities. I'm trying to think. I think Ilya using the Saber card is, like, one of the most powerful, and that's also very early season, so that's not really, like, spoilery territory.
I remember that from the anime.
Yeah. Though obviously, Ilya channeling the Berserker card is probably the funniest. And, we don't have a 5-star Herc, so... But yeah, I don't know. There's a couple of different options, and I think as we get further in the series, they get weirder. Like, they start stacking multiple cards to get, like, extra classes or, like, other examples of a core class that are really fucking strange. I don't remember all the details, but there's definitely some stuff in there. But also, yes, there's, like, a shitload of characters.
Personally, I don't think they should necessarily have the installs, because I think it actually kind of, steps on toes. Like, you even look at the Prisma character we have now. None of them are actually using their cards. They're just their magical girl selves living their best life. So, and I enjoy that. So I don't necessarily see a reason to actually give them cards and have them basically cosplay as another servant. One which you probably actually have.
Yeah,
Maybe.
We should definitely use the original characters that are still in the Prisma universe then. Double down on the classics. They're already doing stuff. Obviously, the main one still doing the cosplay thing is Chloe, but that's again because the card is stuck in there. She ate it, to use a metaphor. So that's it's kind of her thing. Also, when she first came out, regular Emiya was bad.
This just reminds me. Well, I guess if we want to be a technical on technical, Miyu has in-game cosplayed as fucking Tamamo Cat because they have the same voice actress. I remember that from the event, and Chloe in the shop. Chloe was wearing a cat's apron and whatnot. And Belle.
Gremlinology.
Yes.
We do a lot of these jokes.
Well, I think that's enough on that subject. But we shall moveth oneth. And I bonk my mic.
It's okay, we all do it. I think I accidentally punched my mic stand like twice on Thursday.
This next one comes from Hassan of the Long Ass Assignments. They say, "Hey, Floxfusser." Excuse me. They say, "Hey, Fox."
Listen, I couldn't say seashell earlier, so you do it
I'm
all
gonna
right.
get through this. Hey, Fox Fluffer Lucky and Cardboard Maniac Omega. How's life treating you? I just moved to another country for uni, and it's been a nice change of pace settling down. No questions, just good vibes. Wah 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 wah.
This is technically a lie. You did ask a question. There's a question mark and everything. But I assume they meant it as just kind of like, a general greeting. How's things?
How's kicks?
Does anybody really want to know how's kicks, or are they just saying it?
Just makes me think of a Mass Effect moment when you talk to a Turk and you say, "I'll let you go," when the Turk is just all like, is like talking to someone like a firm of punishment. No wonder you people don't want to communicate.
Yeah, you've been idioms.
Yeah.
There's a couple moments like that. Don't get on some peeps. Also with, how's tricks, how's kicks. There's a couple of different variants. Also with Mass Effect, though, especially starting with the second game, there's a question of if Shepard says, "I have to let you go," if Shepard is possibly holding this person over a bottomless pit and literally throwing them in it. You gotta be careful. Anyway, not much. How about you?
He almost got fired today.
Yeah, keyword almost.
Almost. Lucky stands on a precipice of despair. But enough about that. Moving on. This next one comes from Agent 418, who says, "Hello, Lucky Omega. Have a good week." Thank you, Agent 418.
Again, at the bottom.
It was only put in an hour ago, too.
Yeah, but there are some others that might be sub 1 hour ago, or others that are also labeled an hour ago that are much higher up. I don't know how he does it every time. It is the only membership post, but usually other members' posts get mixed in. It's just fucking sorcery.
It is sorcery, but I love it. The best kind of sorcery.
Magic. All right, well, no, don't do that. Clicked on the show notes and almost started doing emote reactions or something. I don't want to do that. Alrighty, well, that means we've moved through the mailbag. Another lovely, pleasant mailbag it is. And we are at a mere 34 minutes.
Jeez,
more like
okay.
More
Okay.
like 35. We're just under the mark there. But
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Oh, this is horrible.
Wow. Okay. Well, hey, we'll see how short shows do. Short shows. Technically, if we were like on our game, we could probably get this show to like under 30 minutes.
I don't want to be on our game.
No. And I haven't edited it out, all the stuff. Anyway.
Oh,
Listen,
no.
it's alright. We just,
It's not right.
mailbag was perfectly normal. We didn't have anything to go crazy about. Just get in there. No, there won't be any impromptu. I haven't done any like research or build up to figure out what the fuck Arcade's deal is. Honestly, we'll probably learn more in reference to whenever the collab comes out. So hey, when the collab comes to the States, then I can definitely try and give you guys some backfill. Does Arcade know what Arcade's deal is? I don't know. I think Arcade's deal is costumes. Please come to Arcades, spend money. That's their deal. Okay. Slapstick's medium first impressions. Let's do that. There won't be a lot to talk about here. It's literally been like a day. But it's a decent start to a day, and there's a decent amount of meat here. I think they've stopped story updates for Arcade. I think so. At the very least, I haven't heard any of them like announced that way. They're still doing banners and stuff, and there's presumably some sort of events going on for them. But yeah, I think the story's supposed to be done. But it's very hard to tell, filtered through, Japanese translations and stuff. They're still making Arcade announcements on streams and whatnot, so anyway. Slapstick Museum, it's only been out a little bit, but we're here.
Yeah.
It's only been 30 minutes, and I still don't remember what the hell I said earlier. I think I said earlier that I was pleasantly surprised by how much production value there is in this event. And not to say that, like, White Day is necessarily treated bad or anything, but White Day's events are usually a little more low-key than Valentines, and some years it hasn't even been like a full thing. Like, I remember the Arthur costume and rerun banner was just, I believe, just logins, and stuff like that, The very first year it was kind of an extended trial quest for Amakusa, Kid Gill, and Astolfo, and obviously we've got, gotten full events and gotten, full events coming up, but it's not as much of a zinger as Valentine. Well, if it's not as much of a cash grab his Valentines, probably because they don't guarantee a new SSR every year. I know that the users of FGO are probably mostly horny and or interested in rolling lady characters, but also they don't necessarily try to go the extra mile of marketing. I'm sure they could probably bring some extra punch in. But anyway, White Dick. There's a wealth of CEs. Yeah, the Moriarty one was pretty good. I like that one. Though I think the E and C one from last year, I think that was? Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's when I experienced my great pain. Don't you worry, I'm going to have some tickets for when that Odysseus Day comes back. I'm going to be ready to rumble. And unlike the first time of E and C, I can't roll Kirkis in before NP6 Suna, because I think he is on raid up on all the singleton banners. But yeah, so that had a lot of, like, I think much needed depth for Odysseus as a standalone character rather than the Lost Belt version, which was pretty good.
Oh yeah.
The Moriarty one I feel like is definitely memorable though. Very fun. This one definitely seems like it is going in that direction though.
Oh yeah.
Your like prologue intro is first of all, we get some actual like background information we've never canonically had before, which is just like Chaldea has a no debate rule.
Yeah.
They do at least call out that, like, with Tesla and Edison, for instance, they will literally never agree. That's just not how they are as servants, so they argue anyway. But in general, servants don't discuss things like religion and politics because they all come from different eras, so they have kind of like a rule about professionalism. It's pretty interesting to hear that explicitly stated, especially in this, the year of our Lord, 2023. I think it was just about, like, culture or something. But yeah, so that was a cool one. That's kind of a setup though to what may or may not end up being a MacGuffin later. We'll see. But you know, we have this conversation with Amakusa, who's probably a pretty good one for this. You know,
oh, yeah. While
he is slightly sinister, he is generally like has a reason for doing things. You know, he's not necessarily a fighty boy.
He's a crafty boy.
Yes, a smug motherfucker, as somebody would say later. Not actually in that words. I think they'd have to up their rating if they said smug motherfucker, but it can be implied. But yeah, so that turns into a curious conversation about, like, well, there's one thing that could cause conflict I'm worried about, and that's the fact that Paris still has the literal apple of discord.
Yeah, that once again proving that sheep are evil.
Yes. And the sheep admits it. He's right there, and he's like, I did it as a joke.
Not do it again.
I thought it'd be funny. And then I'm just thinking of the fucking... It's just the cat meme, but with the sheep. Shit, can somebody give me that edit? That sounds hilarious. But no, it's just like, oh no, I have a sheep. What will I do? And so Amakusa is like, I know how to solve this. There's literally one cool person for this. I mean, you could pick any saints. Once again, kind of referring how a lot of saints and ruler type characters, you know, are generally not driven by selfish desires. He's like, there's one person I think would be good for this, and it's Voyager. By the way, shout out to Voyager cruising in his little prince form.
Yeah. Also, I do want to shout out, though, he did say if he wanted to keep it in degrees, he said Medea, but convincing her to actually take it would be a whole nother story. And I'm like, yeah, no, makes sense.
Yeah, it's true. Like, Medea is one of the few people I think you could trust with a lot of bad news Grecian artifacts, and she would just be like, this is terrible. But I think it was also might be because that's explicitly a power of Rule Breaker, is to separate people from their, like, powers and contracts and things. But again, telling her to, like, take it, she would be like, nuh-uh, fuck away, dude. But yeah, so he suggests Voyager. And like I said, I hope this is, like, foreshadowing for something in the future, because Amakusa doesn't actually get to explain, like, why he thinks Voyager would be such a good pick, right?
Right.
Because we get balled out to a minute singularity. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I think this is good, because, like, as we're going on here, we find a minute singularity here, and lo and fucking behold, there is a manifested Holy Grail. They actually called this out, like, this is fucking weird, Grails don't usually do this. Just chilling in a case, and you gotta go get it. And, you know, just, you know, out of the fucking wings, you know, the squad just assembles of, you know, of Sanson, Jinkei, and Amakusa says, like, you know, I will go, and Voyager will too. And Voyager's like, K. And I'm like, and, you know, knowing this is a you know, a Phantom Thieves kind of things, like, this is probably not my fucking go-to, this will not probably be my usual go-to squad for such a thing.
The two assassins are a decent pick. And, like, Amakusa is a crafty motherfucker. But Voyager? I mean, he's adorable, yes, but would not be high on my list of Phantom Thieves. I don't know. I think Summer Carmilla, the literal Phantom Thief, would be high on my list. Mr. C was clearly busy that day.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, so we show up, and it turns out the Holy Grail is being kept in a museum. And this is I love that you can call it out too. Great use of the dialogue choices. But this museum is literally filled with flashback materials. There's, a Mona Lisa CE version. There's a shot of Hokusai's, waves off Mount Fuji. There's some Nobu guns in there. There's a couple of other things that I don't remember right now. But I noticed there were a lot of callbacks.
Oh, yeah, no. They mentioned this. It's just a room full of, basically of heroic artifacts. I think Amakusa says if you were to
perform a summoning, there's so many catalysts, it would be random.
Yeah.
Which is, weird.
Mm-hmm.
Even Amakusa thinks it's weird. Though before we move on, there is an adorable moment where Voyager can't see, so Jinkei puts him on his shoulders. It's great. And he's
great.
like, traction, engage.
Yep. I'm like, this boy is the best.
Yeah. We go off to explore, and we find the Holy Grail right there. It's in a box. Cool.
Yeah.
There's a mysterious masked gentleman who runs the museum. And I appreciate that Amakusa straight up is, he asks some probing question. He's like, oh, why you got it in the glass case? Why don't you let people approach it? It's like, ho, people have tried to take it before. It's very genuine. Literally calls it out as the whole capital H, capital G Holy Grail, the cup that caught the blood of Christ, aka big fucking deal. Though I would just like to say, as a Dresden Files parallel, the fact that it's really gaudy and gold, also could work as a Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, the Cup of Carpenter. You have chosen poorly. But it at least looks like a slightly more blinged out version of our normal Holy Grail thing, so it's, on theme. But yeah, we have, this whole conversation. Would you like to put it on auction? No. Can I touch it? No. Let's go, master. By the way, there's 2 servants in this room who would have fucked our shit up. And also, I think there's more servants, because if it was just 2, I probably could have taken them. I like that, he's called it a smug later, but Amakusa does get to flex a little bit in this, in the sense that he's like, no, I'll be alright. Even though I don't actually know, character and skill-wise, if Amakusa Shiro has any reason to be this, bold and brazen about this. It is also funny that because of his sprites, he's just constantly holding the black key.
Honestly, I would have to say, I don't actually remember much about the Shimabara Rebellion, but it might be because due to his status as an apocryphal say, he probably just is the person that people expected him to be.
Yeah, and certainly he has his, his, cred in Apocrypha as, the real mastermind. He's got a lot of stuff like that. Oh, sorry, I was just trying to read up for some more background information. Wikipedia is a little thin, as you might expect. But his original Christian name was Geronimo. He later changed it to Francisco. But where the fuck is my Geronimo Amakusa Shiro hangout?
Well, yeah, that's why I think, that's why I think it's probably a little hard to just nail down what exactly Amakusa Shiro is. There's not a lot on him. He was just a charismatic Japanese youth who, joined a peasant uprising and got put down mercilessly. Jesus.
Yeah. He unfortunately, thoughts and prayers do not constitute logistics. But yeah, they had a lot of problems with supplies apparently. And it's still there's definitely some wiggle room. He's obviously had to be charismatic enough to lead a group like this. But yeah, so, there's some back and forth there. We decide to leave. We decide to camp out. Mash stays behind as our, mission support as always. And we kind of intermittently have her in, audio only, audio visual, no audio, etc. And you say to camp out for the night. Mm-hmm. And Amakusa is like, don't worry about this. I'm going to take a run. Because they have Jinkei scope it out first. It does turn out, by the way, that this museum is hilariously oversecured.
Any high's worth of salt's got to have stupid, ridiculous security measures.
Oh yeah, no, I'm a huge fan of the Ocean's movie trilogy. So yeah, no, they're like, all the glass display cases that are actually made of melted down octuplet crystals. Think of the farming, y'all. I can't remember. I believe it. I think the suggestion was that the laser grid type sensors were maybe supposed to be magical. because I distinctly remember Jinkei saying it was like a laser net, but not saying it was a network of lasers. So I don't remember if that was supposed to imply they were different somehow. But, there's a laser grid. They have soul eaters instead of guard dogs.
I like how Jinkei points this out as really fucking weird.
Yeah. And you can be like, that's terrible, because it is. Oh my god. I still remember that meme I made a million years ago. I think I made that one. I made that edit. Somebody in our Discord might have made it, but just the image of, I'm getting real tired of this dude with the soul eater. But that still lives in my head, But yeah, so that's another big one. And then of course there are at least 3 servants, because if they only had 2, there'd be blind spots. Now, future spoilers. There's a really cool opening, fucking opening credits thing that shows 6 servants who aren't on your squad. So unusual, but still cool. So Amakusa, does the whole run. They're using the mercs from Shinjuku as security guards who just fucking blaze away. And I love that Amakusa is not real concerned for art, huh? And they're just like, dude, I don't want to hear it, art thief. And Amakusa's just like, oh, yeah, Crow still has it. I've had enough of this dude. You can tell this is an ancient meme because it's got Babbage and Castless in it. Is this an original hunting quest, or is this just farming in America? I don't remember. Anyway, but yeah, these guys are just blazing away. He gets through all the stuff. One of the servants is revealed as Saito.
Yep.
In his suit.
A working man.
Yeah. He doesn't want to reveal his name. He's being professional. Him and Amakusa fight. During all this is Amakusa solo, no support. You wrap it up. Amakusa gets caught on purpose. He even said that going in. Time to get caught on purpose! The curator appears and has his caster use the Holy Grail to siphon Amakusa's power to fight. So I guess just reduce his magical power levels to that of a normal dude. And throws him out. Saito has the smart idea and is like, we should kill him. And then even after he's depowered, he's like, we should still kill him. And then, like I said, there's this really beautiful opening sequence. Intros all the team members, has a little themey music play. All the quest intros have, obviously, the Phantom Thief thing, very popular in Japan. This is actually, by the way, one of the reasons why Sherlock Holmes is so popular in Japan, because of the unofficial crossover between him and Arsène Lupin. I don't think it's actually, because they go and camp out in the woods.
True. I don't think there's
Having
the
been to
anywhere.
the British Museum in the heart of London, not even if you go to Hyde Park will you find that woodsy background. We can make jokes about the British Museum, but I don't think this is supposed to be a 1-to-1 of any museum. And honestly, I believe the way Amakusa described it, it's an
amalgamation, honestly.
Yeah, it's not even really a really good museum, because they just kind of stuck all their artifacts randomly together, right?
Yeah, it has no theme or
no direction. In the hallway to get to the Holy Grail, there's just rows and rows of portraits that aren't connected. Having been to the actual British Museum, their wings are very organized. You can go through a lot of stuff there. But yeah, the intro is really cool. It shows everybody off. It's got all those slides. The quest intros have that very, very specific graphic style. So I don't want to say specifically this is heavily influenced by Persona 5, because P5 had already been out for I think a couple of years by the time this first came out in JP. But listen, they're using a lot of striking reds and blacks. I'm just gonna say, it's got some vibes. They know what they're doing in the graphic design team, and there's definitely something very interesting in. Well, yeah, no, he's got a lot of reds and blacks as well, but the fact that they use a lot of that graphics palette deliberately is they're making decisions. You could even argue, other than his history with White Day, there's no real reason to pick Amakusa Shiro for this. He doesn't have any particular connection to Phantom Thieves or anything picaresque, as they say. He's just kind of, a White Day guy. And that's it's kind of like Arthur and Moriarty, unlocking new costumes and stuff with those setups. But yeah, so again, only one thing has come out. It's all really, really neat. You have some follow-up to get in there, and he's like, don't worry. Well, we can't punch them to death, but you know what? We'll just have to sneak through. Trust me. So I guess we're gonna start working on dismantling the security measures and do a heist. I'm very excited for this. I'm also very excited to see the list of servants they listed, because there was, I believe, based on the opening, The caster is very heavily implied to be Billy Shakes. I think he's the only caster that appears on that list, and he is listed in the credits right next to Saito. But Suna is supposed to appear. Mordred is going to appear, apparently. There's another like 5th or 6th servant. I don't remember off the top of my head. There's a lot going on there. Let's see, somebody posted the video earlier. Is that with sound? No, it's just the MP4 file. I could actually go through it, but do I want to? Well, it's not like we're hurting for time. I'll edit out any weird silences. Please hold while I skim back through it. Don't actually. All the weird pauses will be edited out. Don't worry. But as I actually watch through this, yeah, the fucking. I know it's just like very simple shadow shapes and blocked out and stuff, which is also very thematic. But like, damn, there's so much effort in this.
Oh yeah, no.
And it's pretty long. It's about a minute. Yeah, so there's Suna. Shakespeare was listed with Suna, and so then it's Saito is listed with Mordred. Was there a 5th servant, or was that it? I think it might be just those 4. And of course, the other thing to think about is, I don't know for sure. They might have, because English is a pretty prominent second language in Japan. They might have subtitled this all in English, but I bet they didn't. Was Babbage on that list? I don't remember. I'll run it through again, I guess. Let's see. Makusa, Sanson, Voyager, Jinkei, and the baddies, Suna, Shakespeare, Mash Kirilight as our follow-up there. Very interesting that she's listed in the middle of our enemies. Saito, Mordred. And then he's gone, and then it's just, Holy Grail, Phantom Theo, Makusa, and the Slapstick Museum. But that was what I was going to say, was that means that somebody had to re-edit this to have English text in it.
Yeah.
Somebody had to bust out the project files and go back over that, and I appreciate that so much, because having done a little, even for just, like, short videos like this, we've got some experimental shorts on our channel. Having done a little bit of like, the subtitling and stuff, that can actually be, like, a pretty painstaking process to sync everything up in time.
Well, yeah,
figure out the
a lot of the work might have been saved if, since, they're all big one happy family, if someone had just saved the OG's files. Because I'm pretty sure that typesetting was just a layer over the original thing, so they just had to remove the layer and just do the typesetting in text.
Yeah. I'm sure they kept the project files, but still,
Yeah. Someone had to put in that fucking work.
Go back, dig them up, and redo it all. And make it look, good, because obviously, like, this is a thing that's come up in other things before, but like transitioning Japanese kanji scripts to English can be challenging because kanji writing is very compact. I think this is something I talked about with Final Fantasy XIV, for instance. The guys were talking to me about like, oh, you can't wait until you get to wander out areas and have to type /say of a specific phrase, and I'm like, wait, don't a lot of people in Japan play on console? How do they pull it off? And I was like, oh right, Japanese typefaces. They can probably say things in a lot less characters, so it's a lot less button presses. And I've talked at length because this is a big thing I'm curious about with the Mega Man Battle Network collection they're coming out soon with. Parts of Mega Man Battle Network 6 had to actually be cut out because the game was at its memory limit for a Game Boy Advance game when they like repackaged the script from Japanese to English. Like whole areas had to be cut. So. I think some of the original Phoenix Wright games like had some not direct parts where things were cut, but had some close calls on the dialogue where like those games were exceeding the amount of space you can stick on a Game Boy cart. So yeah, there's still definitely an art to the typefacing, and it's pretty cool. And I think they've got good stuff going on. So it's pretty fun. I'm actually like, I thought this would be a nice little event to do, figuring it was time gated and stuff. But yeah, no, this is actually, looks like they got a nice setup. Did we not get them until the DS? Then maybe it was the original Game Boy Advance cart versions were nearly at max in Japanese. That would not surprise me, given how fucking long parts of those games are. Then you get, memory advances, and for some ungodly reason, they decided to add like an 8-hour case to Game 1. Because we can. Woo. Don't you worry, chat. We'll get to the original Ace Attorney trilogy eventually. We gotta finish Great Ace Attorney first. Then we can go back to the game where the tutorial cases are all like 30 minutes long, as opposed to Great Ace Attorney, where that was an entire like 5-hour stream for us to do case 1-1. We will not have that problem in the future, at least until we maybe get to Apollo Justice. Anyway, I'm very excited for this future event and stuff to go through and see kind of what story writing they do. I've done some of the free quests. They seem pretty straightforward. Get your souvenirs, get your stuff. Oh, it was originally in English. Okay. One of our patrons has dug up the video from 2 years ago, and it was an English typeface. So I don't know, was that just future-proofing, or were they trying to be stylish? Like I said, English is a pretty common secondary language in Japan. It's taught in, I think, like, all of their high schools at high school level. And it usually junior grades too, so I believe this has come up before. We've been talking about like imports from Japan and stuff. Lots of games will have subtitle options in English anyway, and lots of Blu-rays have it as well, so there's mostly just region locking when it existed, and now it doesn't exist, so importing is easier. Though a decent number of like your menu options in games won't be translated and so on. But yeah, so we're gonna have a fun time, I think, with this upcoming event. The free quests don't seem too crazy, and the store isn't anything that is as a super giga must buy. I will probably pick up Amakusa's costume just in case, but I don't have one. But there's a lot of good mats in there, but it's not necessary. So this seems like a nice wind down after Valentines, which always seems so hectic with those giant points ladders and all those Valentine CEs to cycle through. Even when they've got the previously obtained label, trust me, I had to scroll a lot to hunt through for the shit I needed to get. But yeah, so seems like a good follow. Lucky, anything else you want to say about what little we've got of Slapstick so far?
Unfortunately, no.
Yeah, it's only been a day. I kind of figured. We'll get into it more next week. I think all the time gates will be done by then. We'll have just like wrapped up, so that'll be cool. All right. Well, we have crossed the hour mark in the raw edit. No idea of how we compile it in there, but I do have a couple small pieces of business to go through to round it out. It's a new month, which means new patron period ticked over, and so Fanservant Friday is back. I was kind of debating how I was going to handle this one, and I thought I was maybe running out a little bit, but I actually looked through my notes about what servant profiles I have completely built. I've got a good somewhere between a dozen and 15 ones that have never actually won. I'm pretty sure I need to double check some of these names because I feel like I have actually discussed them on the show before, but I cannot find them in the poll history, so I can double check that part later. This one I know for sure is not that. So I was kind of aiming for a little bit of a spring, nature, flowers, spring sprung theme. But also I did mention I think last time when we did the Fanservant Friday on Mina Harker, I did mention that I had a profile mocked up for Arsène Lupin, and he had not won yet. Even though I did put him in one poll, and I think he came in a close second. So, your options this month, and this is for all of our 5 and up patrons, so if you support us at the 5, 10, 20 level, you can all vote. So, your options are Arsène Lupin, Assassin, Belgunnis Assassin, King Laocoon, Berserker, and La Maupin, Saber. And, shocking nobody, Arsène Lupin is currently winning about 50% of the vote. We'll see how that shakes out. That's only 4 votes right now, so it's still very swingable. I kind of figured this would happen, but as I was just looking at the servant list, I was like, I mean, there's no better time, right? We're literally doing the weird Phantom Thief event, so, we'll get in there. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if you support us on Patreon, at the higher levels, you can get access to that poll. Support us at any level, you can access our patron chat, where you can, see people post old memes, and Lucky posted this image of a dog sleeping on a titty mouse pad.
I saw it. It made me laugh.
Yeah, that's how it goes. $1 and up patrons can also get access to audio versions of the show. All of our back history of all our audio versions downloadable. Check all that stuff out. Higher levels, you get topic polls, you get video releases early. Oh yeah, that reminds me, I'm going to have to rework my wanted format a little. Come up with new graphics, because usually I exported what Grand Order Wiki had, but they seem to be down forever. You just get a big timeout warning, so we'll see. Their servers are down, we'll see if they come back. But I have to figure out a new graphics package. Because Galatea is not that far away. That'll be fun. But yeah, you get access to videos like Wanted Early and some other stuff. And obviously, at higher levels, at the Golden Up level, you can listen to the show get recorded live every week and chat along as I frequently yell at chat and chat yells at me. And we post a lot of memes. But I think that's all about the business I got there. Obviously, as I usually like to do, I will plug and remind you, if you're watching this episode live on YouTube, we do our regular Saturday live stream, What's Up with Omega and Lucky, out there, just for people to watch. And that's when we talk about lots of other topics and stuff in, gaming, anime, whatever. And got a few things to talk about. So, if you want to get more content from us, you want more audio while you do your farming of your Slapstick Museum and stuff, always it up. Let me see. Grand Order Wiki. Not Fandom Wiki, the Grand Order.wiki. I'll check. I keep getting a timeout error. Fandom Wiki is fine, but I always liked, however, whatever software-based the Grand Order Wiki used.
I've always used the Fandom Wiki, so I have not been inconvenienced.
Yeah. No, they're still tagging out. Fandom's pretty good for updated information, and I feel like over the years they've added a lot more, tabs and stuff to get tighter, but the layout on Grand Order.wiki was a little better for a few years, but they also started to lag behind on some, up-to-date stuff. The fandom wiki is mostly alright, just so long as you don't touch any of the, Wikia fandom website, parts of it. Like your annoying pop-ins or the weird comment thing that's bolted on everywhere. But the actual, makeup of the website is usually pretty direct now. Got a lot of useful information. Anyway, check out What's Up if you want more us. It's cool. You should go watch it. Posted the AP early this week, I think, right? That happened?
I think so.
Let me check. I'm pretty sure it did, but also, I don't know. Yep. Nope, it's out there. Project Nocturne. Okay. Yeah, so you can check that out if you want more of us, and we also really like our APs. And we had this is a good one. Lots of investigating, lots of riffing and criffing. And I mentioned earlier we've done lots of, weekly streams and stuff that you can check out as well. But that's it's about that. So I guess we'll let you guys go, and I'll do the usual outro.
Yay!
Really did not mean to make that rhyme. Anyway, I'll let Lucky get back to shooting Gaff. I'll go back to punching those same 4 guys over and over again in the streets, and we'll go about our business. Make sure to tune into What's Up. Anyway, if you like this video, be sure to give it a like on YouTube. It really helps us out, and it lets YouTube know that you like this video and want more of it. More stuff like it. We got some stuff. You might be surprised. If you have any comments, please leave them in the comments section down below. What did you think of the animated intro? Let us know. You can also join our Discord. Discord link is in the video description and on our channel page. It's a great time. Come hang out. Got a roll thread. You can post about your White Day rolls. If you're new here and haven't already, please subscribe to the channel to get more of this. And also consider ringing that bell for notifications so you always know when we post a new video. Also, I suspect if you have notifications turned to all, you probably get notifications about when we make community posts, such as mailbags. Just saying.
Mailbags.
Bags of mail. Almost busted out into the Blue's Clues mail.
Almost.
No, hold it in. Winding down the show. As I mentioned earlier, you can support us on Patreon for all those things. I won't redo the whole spiel. You can also support us by joining our channel memberships. Join button or link in the description. Get access to membership badges and emotes. Membership badges and emotes show up in live stream chats, comment pages, and community pages. So that includes mailbag if you want a little extra badgy-do or some extra emotes. And that truly is all of the steez. So, we'll let you guys go. And we'll see you next week for more. Don't forget to also check in Monday for wrapping up Dad of Boy 2. All right.
Have a good evening,